Some of my friends have asked me, how do you do it? 8 continuous hours of swimming. Why? What's the purpose? What do you gain? Hi everyone, I'm Lynn, and welcome to part 2 of my Double Trouble swim around Davis Islands in Tampa, Florida. Today I want to talk about the connection between this long distance swim and a long-term marriage. For those of you who've been married 25 or more years, you know that creating lifelong love, which is what this channel is all about, involves a lot. I invite you to leave comments below as to what you have observed or personally experienced as far as the qualities it takes to create lifelong love in your relationship. For me, it involves commitment, endurance, perseverance, just as a long swim involves. At times, we might want to give up, but we keep going. Why? Because as we push through the difficulties, hopefully we end up in a better place. I want to talk about that. As you're going through difficulties, it's not a better place. You may be unhappy. You may wonder, why did I marry this person? Oh my gosh, for the rest of my life, this is difficult. This is really tough. This is not what I signed up for. However, when we can make it through those difficulties, we experience the growth, and this growth has resulted in an increased contentment. And I really want to talk about that this growth has resulted in an increased love. I think in our country, we don't really focus on the love that we are called to exert, to experience, to give to our partner. It involves sacrifice, and the love is really what's going to test us, because it's easy to bail out. It's easier to divorce. It's easier not to fully examine ourselves. Okay, I don't mean to say it's easy to divorce. It's a very difficult process. It's one of the hardest things someone can do in their lives. But as we go through the difficulties and we really have to dig in, we end up gaining so much. We really push ourselves beyond. So let me talk about the swim. The 2 loops around Davis Island. The first loop was easy. Isn't life great when things are easy, when things are going well, when things are going our way, when every factors line up? And many of us have long periods of that in our marriage. But what do we do when it gets difficult? And this swim got difficult for me. First of all, I decided to take on the challenge when I turned around and faced the opposite direction against the current. And why did I do this? By pushing myself to do difficult things in life and encounter difficult situations, especially in my exercise or athletic life, it really prepares me. It pushes me to go forth with some of the other aspects of my life. Right now I'm writing a book that's controversial, has some controversial parts, and I'm faced against the difficulty of preparing query letters and information to try to get a literary agent. And I'm procrastinating a little bit. I really have to push through this next step. It's been taking me longer than I wanted, but I know that I have to push through. So when I entered the water, I knew it was going to take me 8 hours on this swim, approximately 8 hours. I decided before I entered the water that I would push through. I would do whatever it took to get through this swim. And when I emerged from the water, no more complaints. So I must say that the last week and a half, I've been trying to be positive and not complain and have a great attitude and get myself ready to do what comes next. And so sometimes we need to do that in marriage. Let's talk about a few difficulties that you might have in your marriage. It's extremely difficult when one of the partners has an affair. And by the way, I'm going to leave some resources below. There's a lot of things going through my mind right now, things that I can share with you. BeyondAffairsNetwork.com, I believe, is the website. I'll put it down below. But this is a great resource for those of you who are willing to do what it takes to push through, to overcome something that might have rocked your world. Other things that will rock a world, and I know many of you married 25 or more years, the death of a child, the serious illness or accident of a child or a spouse. I've known people to their lives have changed tremendously because of a car accident, and a year and a half, 2 years, and then they're back on track, and it's kind of a new track. There could be some lifelong pain, irritations, those of you having to deal with a spouse in severe pain, medical issues. These are serious things. These are serious things that will challenge you to dig in and find something deeper, love and sacrifice. And that's really what we're called to do. We don't realize this on our wedding day when everything is going well. You might be your first year into your marriage and your partner is diagnosed with a serious cancer. You know, we didn't sign up for this. But then again, we're human, and suffering and challenges are part of our life. They come and go. When they're gone, it's great. When they come, we are called to a new level. And swimming calls me to a new level. I have to constantly work on my skill. I have to adjust and readjust. I can't quit in the middle of a swim. I could, but it's not in my character to quit in the middle of something. It's to try to find a way through. And that's what we need to do in our long-term marriages. We need to find a way through. Let's talk about the importance of getting in a groove. Now, sometimes when we get married, we will have to find the little things, the shallow things. Oh, one person is a slob and one is a neat person, and you need to do cleaning in your house. Well, is the neat person going to do all the work all the time? Are you going to make up a little chore list? Are you going to talk about this and see what you can both contribute? So when we talk about my swim, I'm the swimmer and Bob is the kayaker. We have specific roles. In our marriage, Bob is the one who does the outdoor work, cutting the lawn, maintenance of the pool. I'm the one who does the indoor work. I should do more of the indoor work, but I do the grocery shopping and cook. And so you find there are certain roles. Bob is the main breadwinner in our household. In the early days, we were equals. And then as our family expanded, we decided that I wanted to put more emphasis and more time towards nurturing of the family. So I was the one who maybe took the kids to appointments, did the homeschooling, most of it. And so that's what you find in your marriage, and that's, to me, important to have different roles. If you're both doing everything or you're both doing nothing, it's not going to work. Just as a corporation has a CEO, a CFO, a COO, it has managers, supervisors, maybe research and development, facilities operation, customer service. You have your different roles in your family structure and in your marriage. And that's definitely in swimming and kayaking. And I've learned to really respect the job that my husband does as a kayaker, keeping me safe, keeping me on a path. He keeps me on a path. And I respect that. And the same thing is true with him, with me. He's very impressed that I can get out there and swim hours and hours and just keep going. The respect for the different roles that we each have in our marriage. Let me think of some things I can share with you more about this swim. When we're in the shallow water and when we're in the shallows, things are good, things are fine. And when we're in the deep, that requires a lot. When I started this swim, I did not have an agenda on my mind of what I'm going to think about, what I'm going to accomplish on this swim. I mainly wanted to focus on my stroke and my technique and trying to make it more efficient. So as I swam along, I'm trying to figure out ways to make it more efficient. And the same is true in your marriage. As the days and the years go by, you'll try to find a way to make it more efficient. Ways of communicating, ways of being. And it's important to focus on yourself, ways you can communicate, ways you can make your marriage happier for your spouse and for the both of you. One thing I'd like to talk about is the Sound Relationship House. And I'm going to include some links below for some podcasts that I did. If you're not familiar with this, I'm a big proponent of this model, the Sound Relationship House. As you can see, I'm focusing in my 36 plus years of marriage, I'm focusing on the top two levels. We feel we've made it, navigated pretty well through most of the Sound Relationship House over the years. And you really need to master and to find good solutions for your relationship, I believe, to have a happier, more content relationship, especially if you've been married 25 years and you haven't figured out how to manage conflict. You're probably spending a lot of energy on being confused about communication, being upset about communication and conflict, and resolving things. So I'd like to draw your attention to the first 5 levels of the Sound Relationship House. But making life dreams come true and creating shared meaning is what I really love to focus on right now at this point in my marriage. I'm enjoying the time I have with Bob. We've raised 6 kids. We have more time together. And so we can really focus on doing a lot together. That's important to me. My 2 love languages are physical touch and especially quality time. I really like quality time with my husband, and I feel that this swimming and kayaking is creating quality time. And I make sure and ask him, does he like the kayaking as much as I like swimming? And the answer is yes, he does. So that's good. So we've found something to do together that brings us joy and contentment, and it's good physical exercise too. There's a book that I've been reading called Swim, Why We Love the Water by Lynn Sher. I'd like to share a quote with you from this book from somebody who swam the English Channel, a California physicist, and this was many, many years ago. I'm not sure if this was the late 80s or early 90s. It didn't say. But one of the quotes that this swimmer, 1988, David Clark said, quote, "What we conquer are our own limitations." I love that quote as it applies to his English Channel swim, because that's what I feel when I swim. I'm overcoming limitations. I'm further pushing myself. I really want to push myself to the limit to see what my body can do. And as I push myself to the limit what my body can do, I'm also seeing what my mind can do. And it's very fascinating. So I really like this. And in our long-term marriages, we are constantly overcoming limitations. We're overcoming our selfishness. We're overcoming things about ourselves from our background, our upbringing, our habits. Oftentimes we need to work on changing our habits and becoming a new person. And that's the secret to lifelong love, becoming a new person as time goes by for the betterment of the 2 of you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm wishing you a good day and make your marriage great.